He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole wide world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands.
Fucking muted microphone. Welcome back to an episode of Ministry and Truth. I am your number one host on this show. Good afternoon for mostly everybody, at least in the United States of America and Canada. How y'all doing? So, got a lot of clips we're going to go over today. Some of them for humor, some of them just so you can see reality and what other people deem their reality to be. Got a street interview, and then I have Patrick Bet David, and I've already forgot what I watched. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we got to get into some music first. And I think you already heard it, but if you haven't, I need you to stand up as it plays.
Stand up! Stand up!
Oh, that was quick.
Stand up! When I move, you move. Just like that. When I move, you move. Just like that. When I move, you move. Just like that. Hell yeah. Hey, DJ, bring that back. When I move, you move. Just like that. When I move, you move. Just like that. When I move, you move. Just like that. Hell yeah. Hey, DJ, bring that back. How you ain't gon' fuck? Bitch, I'm me. I'm the goddamn reason you in VIP. CEO, you don't have to CID. I'm young, wild, and strapped like T.I. Lee. Blah! We ain't got nothing to worry about. Whoop ass. Let security carry 'em out. Watch out for the
hair
diamond
good hair day.
Feels like a midget is hanging from my necklace. I pulled up with a million trucks. Looking, smelling, feeling like $1 million. Pass the bottles, the heat is on. We in the huddle all smoking that Cheech and Chong. What's wrong? The club and the moon is full. And I'm looking for a thick young lady to pull. One sure shot way to get 'em out of them pants. Take note to the brand new dance like this. When I move, you move. Just like that. When I move, you move. Just like that. When I move, you move. Just like that. Hell yeah. Hey, DJ, bring that back. When I move, you move. Just like that. When I move, you move. Just like that. When I move, you move. Just like that. Hell yeah. Hey, DJ, bring that back. Go on with your big ass, let me see something. Tell your little friend he can quit mean mugging. I'm lit and I don't care what no one thinks. But where the fuck is the waitress at with my drinks? My people outside and they can't get in. We gon' rush the back door and break them in. The owner already pissed cause we sorta late. But our time and our clothes gotta coordinate. Most girls looking right, some looking a mess. That's why they spilling drinks all over your dress. But Louis Vuitton bras all over your breast. Got me wanting to put hickeys all over your chest. Come on, we gon' party tonight. Y'all use mouth to mouth, bring the party to life. Don't be scared, show another party of life. The more drinks in your system, the harder the fight. When I move, you move. Just like that. When I move, you move. Just like that. When I move, you move. Just like that. Hell yeah. Hey, DJ, bring that back. When I move, you move. Just like that. When I move, you move. Just like that. When I move, you move. Just like that.
One of the main reasons I love this album.
Stand up! Stand up!
What's up, Hero Infinity? Long time no see. Alright, gotcha.
Damn right the fire marshal wanna shut us down, get us out. Someone can gun us down. We was 2 songs away from getting some good up. Now we 1 song away from tearing the club up. Move over, Luda got something to say. Do it now, cause tomorrow ain't promised today. Work with me, let's become one with the beats. And don't worry about me stepping all over your feet. When I move, you move. Just like that. When I move, you move.
Alright, I'm ready to get past the music and let's see what I have next on. Oh, yes. So this is part of my Havi-files. I went and scoured the bowels of Twitter. Just kidding. It's X. Got a couple videos I want to show you, and some of them are new, some of them are old. Some of them are just here to remind you of who really is the aggressor, the enemy. Hello, pullover.
And I don't understand why it's so difficult for the press to have a consistent narrative about how
Right.
dangerous Trump is.
Zip.
The late, great journalist Harry Evans, one time said that, journalists should, really try to achieve objectivity. And by that, he said, I mean, they should cover the object. Well, the object in this case is Donald Trump. His demagoguery, his danger to our country and the world. Should cover the object. Well, the object in this case is Donald Trump. His demagoguery.
You sure she wasn't talking about me and my demigodry? Am I related to Trump? Uncle Trump, can I get some money?
His danger to our country and the world.
Glad to have you
and
back,
stick
pullover.
with it.
With you. It's, I think we should all question the rhetoric. The problem is that Donald Trump, who I think, if you were doing hurricane categories, he's on hurricane category 5, whereas the other side might be a 2. And Donald Trump and J.D. Vance are not questioning the rhetoric. Right now, because of their rhetoric, because of what he said in that debate, there's been 33 bombing threats in Springfield, Ohio.
I'm glad you mentioned that, Anna Navarro, because I have something to tell you folks about this 34 now, bomb threats in this little town of Springfield, Ohio. All 34 have been debunked and been found to come from outside the country. From Haiti, maybe?
Ohio. That would not have happened but for this false conspiracy theory being spread by the vice presidential and presidential Republican candidates. And those Haitians in Springfield, Ohio, and those students and the people that are victims of these threats and everything that's going on there don't have 24/7 Secret Service, right? They're on their own.
Having Trump not only have had the codes, but now having the classified information for Americans and being able to put that out and share it in his resort with anyone and everyone who comes through should be terrifying to all Americans, and he needs to be stopped.
And also, let's stop this thing. Let's stop this both sides stuff.
Because
it's not correct. Right. It is not both.
At first, when I started listening to the Whoopi talk like this, I was like, this could literally be anything. Because you saw two sides. Come on, YouTube. What are you doing? Give me 2 seconds. I don't know what the fuck just happened.
And he needs to be stopped.
And also, let's stop this thing.
To be shot.
All right. So when I originally watched this clip with Whoopi, I was like, you know what? Let me listen, because I thought she was going to be very specific, which she does end up being very specific until she's talking to at the very end. But this seems pretty legit for anything.
Stopped.
And also, let's stop this thing. Let's stop this both sides stuff.
It's a bunch,
because it's not correct. Right. It is not both sides. It is one clear side, and you can point to many reports. You can point to all kinds of stuff that's been reported. You guys have to pull it back. This is not us or them.
That's weird, because I've been showing some of the rhetoric from your side, actually calling. Not just saying they're eating cats and dogs, calling for the assassination of a sitting president at that time, and now former president and soon to be future president.
This is you got to stop doing what you're doing, JD, and what you're doing, Mr. T, because you are not helping the situation. We'll be right back.
This guy was undecided, so is this guy, and they're both coming out for you.
So this video, it's circulating the interwebs, and I need to close my blinds. Hold on. Sorry, a little bit of pet peeve, too much light. So this has been circulating on the internet, and so far, I don't think the reception that he got or is getting right now is the one he wants. Because everybody is fucking roasting this clown for this setup. What, you can't say, I see bitch. I see bitch twice.
I think I'm decided now.
Matters. So
I took him to the debate watch party, and that just flipped like that.
Yeah,
I mean, they were apathetic, and that's, you know.
it's not about agreeing on every single issue. It's about that core belief. And I said, this whole idea that you can't agree that the election was fair, this whole idea that people should have personal freedoms, which is kind of like the politics are turning over. Yeah, nice meeting you all. Yeah, really grateful you take the time again. Yeah, thanks. Go get them. Talk to your friends. Some of them are just going to say, look, I'm not that into politics.
I thought you said fuck
the answer to that is too damn bad. Politics is into you. So get engaged, go vote.
Hey,
thank you so much.
Hey, how can I help you?
Now that son of a bitch straight up setup for the cameras, and of course he gets. You could tell these motherfuckers don't even look like they would remotely vote for a guy who wants tampons in the bathrooms, unless they need tampons, and then in that case it's totally acceptable. Next video. This is what exactly, Melania. They need to. And so this video, it's been circulating recently, and these guys are from the Federal Bureau of Investigations, and instead of, going to find real criminals and protecting the president and others, they want to harass people for mean tweets or Facebook posts. Either way, this is how you handle the situation, because they know they can't do shit. Fuck you and your 10 badges.
Yeah.
How are you?
Who are you?
I'm Agent O'Donnell with the FBI.
Can you give your full name, please?
I'm Agent O'Donnell with the FBI.
Is that sufficient to identify as the only one O'Donnell affiliated with the FBI?
In New Hampshire, yes.
Could you please state your full name, sir?
Could you please stop recording?
No. It's First Amendment right. Okay. What's your name, sir?
Good to see you.
Absolutely not. You can show me your name and identification, or I'm going to go back inside my house.
Okay. I don't really want to broadcast my...
Oh, this is going out right after you guys walk away.
I wonder why 2 federal agents come to a guy's house and their response is, can you stop recording me? Can you not broadcast me? No, motherfucker. I'm going to do whatever the hell I want.
So that's why I'm not going to...
So you can show me your name or ID, you can walk away.
We just want to talk to you.
I'm not going to talk to people who claim to be federal agents unless they can show me identification.
Okay, well, you see our badges?
Cute badge.
I need to see... Is your full name on that badge?
No.
I'd like to
Your
see
ID.
something with your full name or I'm not going to talk to you.
I prefer you not to broadcast it.
This will be going online as soon as you walk away.
Well, all I want to do is talk to you about a post that was made, and if you
Well,
happen to be the one that made the post.
I want to talk to you about you guys coming here. Say you make a salary of, I don't know what, low 100K? You guys making 6 figures? Factor in 50% expenses, overhead, maybe 100% expenses. Talking about burning a couple $100 an hour just here, let alone all the time you guys are spending to investigate something that you know is not against the law, right? Like you're familiar with. So then why would you come?
Because we wanted to make sure that there weren't any.
No, you're coming because you're part of a regime that does this kind of thing when you know laws aren't being broken, and that's an embarrassment, man. Didn't you guys read the Constitution? Do you not believe in America? Like, how do you do your jobs and go home?
We appreciate it.
What's up, Panel
You're
Channel?
walking away because nothing we did is against the law, And you guys are fuckheads that try to act like bullies. And I hope you go home and are embarrassed. You can't even say your name on camera because you know that what you're doing is embarrassing. You know Americans that believe in the
Don't
Constitution.
those guys just give off January 6 vibes? Don't they? And I'm pretty sure the guy on the left may or may not have been in a video.
Think you're laughable. And you go home and you think about what you did today. Go home and think about it, you cowards. Drive away.
Bye-bye.
Drive away.
You really should get those.
You're not welcome.
That's a nice
You should be embarrassed. Embarrassing. You guys are embarrassing.
I think that's got a supercharger in it.
Sonia, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
So this is JLP. He's talking to supposedly.
Talk to you.
Thank you, Sonia. I appreciate
talking to Sonia from Springfield, Ohio. She's about to tell you firsthand experience what she's got going on over there. And well, Jesse, he listened, and I listened, kind of, sort of, because this was playing in the background, because I was going through a lot of shit.
Appreciate you calling.
Well, I'm calling from the infamous Springfield, Ohio.
Oh, really?
Where I've lived my whole life and grew up here, and I wanted to talk about something that I haven't seen in the national news about. It really is truly a Haitian takeover in central Springfield, and one of the most tragic things that's happened from them being here is we have Northwestern High School, and an illegal immigrant, Haitian, that did not speak any English, did not have a driver's license whatsoever, was driving a vehicle and crashed into a school bus full of children and overturned the bus, and one of the kids lost their lives.
Oh,
I heard about that in the news, national news.
Yeah, and so that happened. That's it really busted up our community, and it's still a sad, sore spot. And I have also tried to go to the Walmart there, and there are crowds of literally just crowds of 2 to 5 foreign people, all of the Haitian descent, standing around in the parking lot, usually talking on phones, being real rude, just everywhere in the parking lot. You got to walk around them. You got to park around them. They're always at the customer service, lines of them at the customer service arguing about they want like Best Western and cash transfers and stuff.
Wow.
And
yeah, I heard that too.
We have a really beautiful, gorgeous park here in Springfield called Snyder Park. And
so that was
I believe that the cats and dogs being eaten is most definitely true, because I've seen the Haitian people chasing the Canadian geese around at the park and capturing them.
I don't know about you guys. I've actually eaten duck and goose, but they were acquired legally and cooked for me. Except for the duck, I had to cook myself. It's good stuff.
I've even seen them walking in the park with the geese under their arm. I saw one kid that was picking the geese up by its feet and like leaving the park with it. So I believe they're probably eating the geese too. And it's just a really, it's not a safe place to be when you want to drive your car down. I'm going to name names, and Bechtel Avenue is a place where they really congregate. There's a lot of shopping places. The Walmart is there, a lot of restaurants and stuff. And it's just overrun with illegal immigrants.
That's amazing.
They can't speak our language.
So, so you have you heard or seen for yourself anyone witness these people eating cats and dogs?
I have not seen, but I know of 2 neighbors on a particular street that have complained that their pets are missing. But one was both cat owners, and one of the cats had, I think, 3 kittens, and all the kittens and the cat is missing, and so is the next door neighbor's cat.
Wow. And
it's kind of an unusual thing. One of the cats is like 10 years old, so it wouldn't just all of a sudden run away.
That's amazing. How are you personally feeling about this invasion?
Good question.
I feel violated. I feel like it's really unfair. And I also feel almost unwelcome in my own town.
Yeah.
For example, going shopping in the area, and, I get from the...
So, a lot of, states and big cities that have like Little Haiti, Chinatown, and all that. You think that was just a prep of things to come? Because you remember Johnson said that we'll have them voting for Democrat for the next 50 years.
Groups of people, you get dirty looks, you get they don't move out of your way if you're trying to push your shopping cart. It's an uneasy feeling.
So Sonia, why? And I've been asking this for a long time. Why are white people afraid to stand up for themselves?
They don't want to seem racist.
White people?
Yes. Why do they let things like this happen? Go ahead.
I personally am not. I actually sport one of your White History Month shirts in the month of July.
Right on.
And I get
July.
I get a lot of blowback. I really get a lot of blowback on that. If say I'm in a conversation, I'm 47. If I have a conversation with
how many cats do you have?
Peers, and I say like, "Oh, I'm gonna maybe put a sticker or like a MAGA thing or a Springfield Strong.
Oh, I thought he said 50 years.
Or voice my opinion. People are always like, "Oh no, don't do that! Don't do that! No, you better look out." People always warn me. I could get shot. I could get anything. Anything could happen. I could get carjacked. And so, I personally am not afraid. But I'd say the majority is. I'm proud of who I am and what I am. I didn't have a choice in it. I'm meant to be here, and I have just as much right as anyone else. And if other races or other nationalities would respect me, I respect them just the same. But I don't feel respected by anyone.
I know. What a mess. So, last thing that I got to run. Now that these people are there in Ohio, Springfield, Ohio, there's no way that they're going to be put out of the town. Are the white people going to
building housing?
Are the white people going to move away, or are they just going to tolerate it? How's that going to go?
I'll tell you, it's a really sad thing, and I don't want it to be true, but I have a feeling that we're just going to tolerate it. We are building an enormous 400,000 unit. Like a low-income,
like a military base,
housing development to house these people.
Wow! So that means.
So I think people are just rolling over and accepting it.
And it's only going to get worse because those that are there already, the Haitians that are there, eventually they're going to have more of their family members and friends come over to Ohio from Haiti, and it's just going to get worse. It's not going to get better.
That's right, and they'll be able to afford the housing because they get assistance, and us people that are paying those bills for them and working for a living, paying our taxes, are not going to be able to pay our mortgages anymore.
That's amazing. One last question, Sonia, that I gotta run. When and if Trump get in, will he? I don't know if you know the answer to this or not, but will he be able to deport these people back to Haiti?
I trust that he will. Yes, I believe he will be able to, and I think he will take action on that.
I do too. I do too if he get in.
Oh, good. Awesome. Amen.
Amazing call. Watch out for your cats and dogs. Amazing call. I really appreciate it. And you just be aware down there and call me again.
It's kind of like they're using the migrants as a way to infiltrate neighborhoods and cities in a way to where people want to leave. and they get to buy shit up real cheap, and they get to either make little military installations for the Chinese, or 15-minute cities. That's why all these big corporations want to buy up land like BlackRock. Because if you don't own a house, where are you going to live? In a 40,000 unit neighborhood. Now, with that neighborhood being 400,000 units, how is it going to be built? Think of Eastern Europe. Stairwell housing. These big ass buildings with apartments. You'll be happy. You will not own it, but you'll be happy when you pay your $1,500 in rent, depending on where you're at. Probably more like $3,200 in California, $4,000 if you're in New York City, for nothing. Just think about 1986 and the sequel that I showed you the cartoon for. Remember those buildings? In an encampment? Pretty sure it was like 400,000 units. Whatever. All right, next one we're going to go. Remember a story I did maybe last week about the black lady that decided she wanted to stab a 3-year-old and his mother, at a shopping center just because. For no reason other than just because. Been an update. Because you remember how she was in court smiling and like nothing was really affecting her? She's back, and guess what? This bitch might get away with it.
Alice is seen going to the Volunteers of America thrift store, where police say she stole 2 knives, then briefly stopped in bins and things
For who,
before
Zippity?
walking into Giant Eagle.
For us.
At 2:58, she walks past the service desk with the knife waving by her side, and no one appears to see it. Then we see her walking near the cash registers. Again, no one appears to see or react to the knife. She then passes Margot Wood and her 3-year-old son, Julian. Ellis immediately turns around and starts to follow them. Cameras show just before 3 p.m., Ellis walked into the lobby and follows behind the mother and son as they exit the store. Cameras then show her following them through the parking lot and to their car.
It was outside of this Lorraine Road location where 3-year-old Julian Wood and his mother were stabbed. Shortly after, police arrested and charged 32-year-old Bianca Ellis in connection to this crime.
Both Julian and Margot were taken to the hospital, but Julian did not make it. Loved ones say on GoFundMe they are devastated beyond words, adding that the suspect took something from us we can never get back.
The suspect accused of stabbing and killing
This is the story I did
3-year-old
originally.
in the parking lot of a North Olmsted Giant Eagle is ruled incompetent to stand trial. 33-year-old Bianca Ellis.
Incompetent to stand trial. Why? They're going to get more into this. And then you're going to ask yourself, why was she even allowed to be on the streets? Why was she not accompanied if this was the case? But the way I see it, she knew what she was doing because she went out, came back with a knife, and then searched out for a victim. Walking by how many people, and she searched out one specific victim? Yeah, she's mentally incapable of doing that.
Has been kept at North Coast Behavioral Health for evaluation. She's charged with killing 3-year-old Julian Wood and injuring his mother in what investigators say was a random incident. The doctor handling her case says she could be restored to competency with treatment, which means she could still be tried in this case.
Jonathan Whitmer-Rich, a law professor at Cleveland State University, says that means 2 things. The defendant doesn't have the basic ability to communicate with their attorney, and there's a lack of awareness.
Are they aware of the nature of the proceedings against them? Okay, I'm in court right now. There's a prosecutor, there's a judge, just the basic, I'm facing criminal charges.
Now Ellis has been ordered to an inpatient treatment at North Coast Behavioral Health with the hope that competency could be restored within a year. If Ellis doesn't reach the competency,
if she knows she's in there for that reason, she's going to keep playing dumb for the rest of her life. That's not a hard concept to see right now. They're going to do it for a year. She's going to play deaf and dumb for the next year, and every year, and every year. Sitting back getting free housing and free food and a padded room, which would be cool. I want a padded room.
competency level needed to go to trial within that time span, she could remain at a psychiatric facility for safety measures.
If the judge at the end of that determines that the defendant is a danger to herself or others, then they can be involuntarily committed to a mental institution. The defendant could try to present evidence that at the time of the offense, they were suffering from a severe mental illness. And because of that severe mental illness, they did not understand the wrongfulness of their conduct.
If that was the case, Ellis could plead not guilty by reason of insanity. Jonathan adds that in these cases, the timeline can be unclear, but usually the suspect does go to trial at some point.
Go ahead, face me for a second.
Last week, Bianca Ellis did a little dance, getting handcuffed, arrested here for violating probation in a theft case. Records show a magistrate referred her for a mental health evaluation, but it didn't happen. Friday, a Rocky River judge released Ellis. Monday, she ended up arrested for a vicious attack. Police call random.
Why didn't this woman get a psychiatric mental health evaluation?
The judge tells us the organization handling mental health evaluations for the court had no one available, and Ellis would have had to sit in jail for days on a minor case.
There wasn't any, as you would say, that red flag shooting up that pole. There wasn't any indications here. No sign of any mental distress. No sign of any previous violent acts.
What would you do differently handling this case? Or
so none of that means that you thought she was fully capable of being a productive member of society.
Even next time?
Nothing.
See?
I'm confident in the way that the court handled this matter.
We spoke to the mother of Bianca Ellis.
What do you think actually happened at that moment last week in this case?
I think she was hallucinating. Bianca has been on several medications that did not work out for her. The hallucinations and the voices just got the best of her. My condolences to this family. When I found this out, I was so devastated because no child should lose their life. She was around my grandchildren. It could have been one of my grandkids.
With felonious assault, Ohio Revised Code Section 2903.11A1 and or endangering children in violation of Ohio Revised Code Section 2919.22B2. Count 4 alleges that on or about June 3rd, 2024, the defendant did knowingly cause serious physical harm to J.W. on date of birth 10/29/2020. The defendant did, knowing that an official proceeding or investigation was in progress or was about to be or likely to be instituted, alter, destroy, conceal, or remove any record, document, or thing with the purpose to impair its value or availability as evidence in such proceeding or investigation.
Okay.
Good morning, sir. Could you start with your name?
My name is Jared Wood, father of the deceased, husband of Margot. Your Honor, that day, 1 week ago, she took everything from us. There's nothing that could ever replace my son, or anything that my wife and I, or even our other kids, are going through. It's horrendous. And I really wish no bail, period, or extend it to the max limit possible that you can, at the very least. Just do whatever you can to keep this monster behind bars.
Thank you, sir. Is there anything else you would like to say?
That'll be it.
You wanna know what's fucked up? I don't know if I'd tell her to leave the person behind bars. They won't make it to trial.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
And it's crazy that this girl thing,
New York Times
not
is
really
reporting
sure.
that
Sometimes I get confused when I see it, him. I mean, their tits pretty much go all the way down to her stomach, which was pretty fucking weird. Fuck your feelings. What's up? Do I think she knew what she's doing? Absolutely. Am I professional? No. But, well, would it be the same way in the female side when you weigh 350 pounds? Would they put her in no protective custody. Nah, nah, not allowed. So what else happened yesterday? I don't know. Did somebody get arrested? Somebody pretty high profile? I don't know. Let's find out.
New York Times is reporting that Sean P. Diddy Combs has been arrested. Let me repeat. Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, Sean Combs has been arrested. Let me tell you what I do know, and it ain't much at this point.
Bro, reporter
Arrested
says ain't.
in Manhattan. This evening, grand jury indicted him according to a person familiar with the indictment, not authorized to speak publicly. The charges in the indictment not immediately clear, but you know that there's been this massive federal investigation, right? They've raided his home in Los Angeles. They raided his home in Miami, much of it after a civil suit from his former girlfriend, Cassie, who, by the way, he settled within a day. And then after that, video came out showing him beating her to a living pulp in a hotel.
Oh no, I'm going more for like a figure eight knot.
A lot of the allegations in the lawsuit that, Cassie had actually filed against him provided, I think, some meat on the bones for the feds. But the New York Times saying that this happened, they don't have a lot more information than this. We are also trying to confirm this, but I can tell you that his attorney has made a statement, and let me read it to you because I think it confirms what the New York Times is reporting, and it's this. And it's Mark Agnifilo, his attorney. Quote, "We are disappointed with the decision to pursue what we believe is an unjust prosecution of Mr. Combs by the U.S. Attorney's Office. Sean Diddy Combs is a music icon, self-made entrepreneur, loving family man, and proven philanthropist who has spent the last 30 years building an empire, adoring his children, and working to uplift the Black community.
Good to see ya.
He is an imperfect person, but he is not a criminal. To his credit, Mr. Combs has been nothing but cooperative with this investigation, and he voluntarily relocated to New York last week.
Kind of feel like if they indicted him that he kind of might be a criminal, especially when there's video evidence everywhere and witness statements everywhere. Jesus Christ, this dude could be Vince McMahon of the music world.
In anticipation of these charges, please reserve your judgment until you have all the facts. These are the acts of an innocent man with nothing to hide, and he looks forward to clearing his name in court." So again, that is Mark Agnifilo. That's the attorney for Sean Diddy Combs.
Does he think his money is
But
going to
that's
get him out of this?
massive news that maybe is news that we've just been waiting every moment to drop. Because not only do we know that the feds did these two massive raids on his Miami and his Los Angeles mansions, we also know that multiple lawsuits have dropped since. So the lawsuit that obviously Cassie launched with so many details, that had just remarkable details in it. Just the
yeah, he sounds innocent.
What's really incredible about all of the different lawsuits against Sean Combs is how similar everyone's story is. Now, is that because he did the same things to all of these alleged victims? Or is it because all of these people filing suit see the story before them and think it makes a good narrative, so why not just, follow with those same details? But I will tell you some of the details, and I'm going to paraphrase, so you'll have to just forgive me for the colloquial, but many of the allegations say that there was sexual assault through drugging, and many of those alleged druggings and sexual assaults happened at
large parties where the allegations were that he brought in a number of women, and sometimes young women / girls. Allegations that many of those at the party, many of the female party attendees looked as though they were underage, may very well have been underage, but that multiple women said that they were drugged or saw other women being drugged. In fact, we just reported on a lawsuit last week of yet another accuser saying that she saw this happen at multiple parties. She was a member of the Making the Band. She's suing Diddy for years and years of verbal abuse, mental abuse, physical abuse, and sexual abuse.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com.
Well, Sean Combs, P. Diddy, whatever your fucking name is this week, next week, and the following weeks, years from now, I want to dedicate this song to you. You and every other pedophile and rapist we have in this world. Wife beaters.
Ladies and gentlemen, Bob and Tom. They say our love is taboo. That what we're doing is wrong. But I don't care what they say. Cause my love is so strong. They tell us we should be ashamed. We're not husband and wife. But I cherish each moment with you. I'm so glad you're in my life.
Dude, this is from when I was a kid.
You're my prison bitch. You're not like other men. I'm glad we share a prison cell when lights go out at 10. I can't escape the way I feel, now that would be a crime. As long as I am doing you, I don't mind doing time. Cause you're my prison bitch, and I have no regrets. I got you for a candy bar and a pack of cigarettes. At first you were resistant, but now you are my friend. I knew that I would get you in the end.
Prison bitch. Oh,
I guess that you were sent from up above. Yeah. Prison bitch. And now you are my prisoner.
Good.
I'm your prison bitch. My prison bitch, I'll never say goodbye. You're not like all the others, too bad they had to die. On the second thought, I think I'll stay if you want me to. Your prison bitch is never leaving you. Yeah, first you were my cellmate, but now you're my soulmate. So come here, baby. Come here. I know, baby. Now I know why they call you a heart
How was that? That was for you, good old Sean Diddy Combs. And whoever else decides they want to go to jail. Oh, no shit. Well, Donald, I can tell you that's actually not me sneezing.
Did you catch it, guys?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they catch it big time. I think my wife purposely sneezes that loud just to piss me off because she's been doing it for like 24 years. She still hasn't stopped. I think at this point she's just asking for attention. Good thing she's married to me. Ever wonder what happens when a Catholic marries a pagan? She questions the Bible now. Don't tell anybody. All right, so this is from a Senate committee hearing that I believe happened yesterday. I didn't watch the whole thing. I just thought this one was really interesting because some people get really mad. And, damn. And, who is this? Holly? Holly gets mad. I'm not going to play the Cruz one because the Cruz one seemed kind of racist at the end. Which, I guess he can't be racist because he's not white. But anyway. Hey, she told me to tell you to kick my ass. Yeah, that's right. Oh shit, I hit play on the wrong one.
Senator Welch, you may conclude.
Oh, my bad, but this is from today.
Thank you very much. Senator Hawley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Berry, let me just start with you. You said in response to a question from, I think it was Senator Graham, you praised the protests going on campuses. I just want to make sure I got this right, so you correct me now, as a national organic human rights movement. What did you mean by that?
The mass movement in support of Palestinian human rights is happening on college campuses across the country after students are learning more about the history of the Palestinian-Israeli conflict and the specific targeting of Palestinian human rights. Yes.
Oh, okay. I just want to be clear about what you're praising and not praising.
Well, praising.
Let's have a look here. So,
yeah.
This long live the Intifada.
Yeah.
Is this an example of the what did you say, national organic human rights movement that you mean? Is this a human rights movement?
I'm not sure that using the term Intifada, which literally just means to like shake off or get rid of, is effective. As most Americans don't actually.
So does Taylor Swift call one of her songs Intifada? You know, just Intifada, Intifada. I can't sing like her, mainly because I have testosterone, and Travis Kelce, you're a bitch.
Associated with a human rights issue, so I don't think that's effective. No, Senator?
Wait a minute. You don't think it's effective, but you would agree that this is calling for the destruction of the state of Israel. This is after the
No, Senator.
No, it's not. This isn't calling for the killing of Jews.
I don't know that person, and I don't know that sign. So
you don't know what this
for.
means?
I don't. Think
you haven't seen this before. Did you see these protests on Rabbi? Do you know what this means?
Yes, it's a call for the destruction of the state of Israel and probably the killing of Jews everywhere.
Years, bro.
I do not agree with that, Senator.
You don't think that you don't think that's hate speech right here?
Long live the Intifada can mean different. As I see the problem,
it can mean different things. Wait a minute. These are protests, violent protests on campuses that targeted Jewish students, attacked them personally, prevented them from going to camp, going to class, put them in fear of their safety after the October 7th attacks on the state of Israel that murdered more Jews than at any time since the Holocaust. And you're saying you think that this is an ambiguous message?
I'm saying that any student targeted on campus, a Jewish student.
Will you condemn this right here? Right here. Long live the Intifada. Will you condemn
Jewish students?
We'd have to have her deported and stripped of her citizenship.
On a campus is being targeted, and the Office of Civil Rights should successfully be given funding.
Will you condemn this as hate speech?
I think that can be hate speech, but I don't think it's automatically hate speech. The problem is that there's nuance I'm trying to introduce to this conversation.
What's the nuance when these people are marching and calling for Jews to be killed?
Sir, because Intifada also means uprising for Palestinians. The way
it's ambiguous, so it's hard to say. Well, my gosh. Okay, let's try another one. What about this?
Please, audience will please
Oh, yeah, I mean, that's fine. We know what you think. Right, exactly. I mean, I think you've made it clear, those who were cheering earlier when Senator Cruz was asking about the attempts to destroy and kill Jews. Let's just be clear about what's going on here, because here's what's happening at this hearing. We can't talk about anti-Semitism without also talking about something else. The message that's being sent today at this hearing today is anti-Semitism isn't enough. The attempts to kill Jews on campuses, that's not a conversation worthy of discussion. You've got to add something else to it. So if you want to kill Jews, oh, well, we can't talk about that unless we also talk about 15 other things. And now we have a witness sitting here who will not condemn the attempts on these campuses that are blatantly anti-Semitic tropes, Nazi tropes to try and kill Jews. What about this one? There's only one solution. Is that a national organic human rights movement?
No, sir. I trust that's in reference to Holocaust, and that's
I would think the final solution. Okay, what about this? What about this?
Oh, this one.
Glory
this
to our martyrs.
Her excuse.
Again, I don't understand the point of messaging like that. I don't know what that means.
Would you condemn this as anti-Semitic? This was projected here in Washington, D.C. on the campus in front of Jewish students following the October 7th massacre.
I think that is not appropriate speech at a time.
It was hate speech in the context, don't you think?
Sure, but the point is I would prefer to focus on the issue of hate crime. That's the reason I'm saying that.
This is a hate crime. When you threaten to kill Jews and destroy the state of Israel, that's hate speech.
No,
that's a hate crime.
Threatening to kill anyone, including Jews, is
let's not pretend that it's ambivalent or ambiguous or we're not sure. How about this one? Free Palestine from the river to the sea.
That's not hate speech, sir.
You don't think that this is a call for the destruction of the state of Israel?
I can speak to what I think, which is amazing because I'd love to talk about what I think, but I really think the focus of our hearing
You don't think
should be
that
the
after
growing
the
problem
October
of hate
7th
crime.
attacks, when this was projected in front of a group of Jewish students right here in the District of Columbia, you don't think that's an attempt to intimidate them and call for the destruction of the state of Israel?
Focusing on hate crime, I would say if
Just
that
yes or
were
no?
displayed on a synagogue, then it's a hate crime. If it was displayed on a Hillel, then it's a hate crime. If it's displayed elsewhere, I trust its speech.
Well, and then we wonder why our students are confused. Rabbi, let me just ask you, are you confused about this message?
I'm not confused, and I'll add that even if it was ambiguous and could mean different things to different people, Senator, can you imagine if there was a phrase that also meant kill all the black people? Would we be okay with projecting it because it might also mean something else to someone else?
No, I mean, well said, well said. I'm almost done, Mr. Chairman, but let me just ask, since the witness talked about a national human rights movement, let me just ask about a couple others. University of North Carolina chapter of Students for Justice in Palestine claimed, "It is our moral obligation to be in solidarity with the dispossessed, no matter the pathway to liberation they choose to take. This includes violence." Would you condemn that?
I'm sorry, was that for me?
Yes.
Yeah.
It is our moral obligation to be in solidarity with the dispossessed, no matter the pathway to liberation they
fucking knew they would. When I first saw that was coming up today, I was like, oh, this is going to be ridiculous because Kamala didn't even want to do it at the same time as Trump.
choose to take. This includes violence. You condemn that?
I certainly condemn violence.
Good. You condemn that statement?
I condemn violence. I have no interest in engaging in this back and forth about individual statements of students.
You know what? I do have an interest in it, and here's why. What I just read to you, the United States Senate unanimously condemned this rhetoric. And unless we take a stand now on this rhetoric, on this specific rhetoric out of the mouths of these students that you have called National Organic Human Rights Movement protesters, we are going to send the message that trying to kill Jews on campus, trying to prevent Jews from going to class on campus is just okay. It's just another viewpoint.
Senator,
it's not just another viewpoint. And frankly, what you're trying to do here today, I think, is wrong.
Your time has expired.
Deeply wrong, sir.
Senator.
Oh, fucker. Josh is he can be very animated at times.
As a prosecutor?
But he did make some points. But so did she. Because if that's technically being projected out in the open, it's like flying a Confederate flag, right? It's like having a LGBT flag painted on the road, right? But if it's projected, like she said, on a synagogue or a Hillel, then yeah, that would be considered. Which at the same time, yeah. But when you're out and about and you're preventing somebody from moving, doing their own free movement, stopping that might be a big change. Because at that point you are... Yes, it was. What do we got next? Oh, I believe this is a fact check. Oh, no. So they fact checked Kamala Harris on the fact that they said, remember when we were doing the debate thing, and she said there's no service member right now anywhere in the world that is serving in a combat zone. At that point, nobody should take her seriously, yet people are defending her. Wait. We know she lied. How the fuck are you going to defend her? But somebody did. Somebody did. Oh, yeah. You should have known.
I never asked a victim or a witness, are you a Republican or a Democrat? The only thing I ever asked them, are you okay?
Annie,
and that's the kind of
Are
president
you
we
okay?
need right
Are you
now.
okay, Annie?
Someone who cares about you and is not putting themselves first. I intend to be a president for all Americans.
Vice President Kamala Harris making her closing argument at Tuesday's debate on ABC. I'm joined now by Massachusetts Governor Maura Healey, clearly a supporter of Kamala Harris. You know, Democrats said quickly that Kamala Harris won the debate. In fact, our poll found 58% of the voters thought she was the clear winner. And yet that performance did not overall move the needle. They're basically in the same place as before the debate. Does that surprise you?
Oh, don't get me wrong.
No, not at all.
This whole Israel versus Palestine war, my issue was with the fact that they're attacking innocent women and children, which Hamas both did and Israel did. But this has been going on for way too fucking long, and now it's come over to the United States. And these fucking retard NPCs are making it worse. It's like a video game. It's a weird video game. Is this the Matrix? Which one of you motherfuckers took the blue pill? You sons of bitches. Now we can't get out of here. Well, I can.
Martha, we know that this is going to be a close race. And Kamala Harris says that she's an underdog. But what's important is that she and Tim Walz have built a campaign for a close race. They're opening an unbelievable number of offices around the country, tons of staff, tons of volunteers. The enthusiasm has been really strong. And I think what's very important also is that she and Tim are playing for every voter. They're going to red counties. They're going to red districts, right? Because as she said in her closing argument, I'm going to be a president for all Americans. You may not agree with me on everything,
Happy Meth
but
Day,
I'm
short
going to
bus.
be here for you and your family. And one thing that the debate demonstrated to me, at least, is that Kamala Harris is about you. She's about the American people. She's thinking about your family.
Come on, short bus. You gotta be doing this every time. Yeah, I know it's your birthday. It gets old. It gets old.
Family. Donald Trump's just about himself. Remember, Kamala Harris is the one who's out there saying she's going to cut taxes for 100 million Americans. She's going to provide a tax credit to families with children. She's going to produce more housing around the country so we can lower housing costs. She's focused on lowering the cost of prescription drugs and groceries.
Governor,
what have we heard from Donald Trump beyond the pets and the like? So, you know, the debate, we've moved on from the debate. It's about the campaign.
Governor, I want to go back to the debate because that was important, and I want to go through a few things that Kamala Harris said. I want to ask you about her comments about the military. She said during the debate this about the U.S. military. Let's listen.
As of today, there is not one member of the United States military who is in active duty in a combat zone in any war zone around the world, the first time this century.
Our fact checkers found that to be false, and I have a lot of experience in that area as well. There are currently 900 U.S. military personnel in Syria, 2,500 U.S. troops in Iraq.
Didn't I say that? Exactly where they were? Almost like I knew.
All have been under regular threat from drones and missiles for months. We also have action in the Red Sea. We also, every single day, the Navy SEALs, Delta Forces, special operators can be part of any sort of deadly raid. So why would she make that claim?
Well, I think what's important here, Martha, is that Kamala Harris, in contrast to Donald Trump, demonstrated herself to be commander-in-chief. We are in a...
The biggest thing for being a leader in the military, maybe even everywhere else in real world, is accountability. Not just accountability for yourself and the things that you do, but accountability for the people that work for you. Because, you have a good team, you have a productive team. You have a shitty team, you have Congress. But it would be nice, because I knew where my soldiers were 95% of the time. If she doesn't know that we have over 3,500 troops overseas right now in combat zones, do you think she should be the leader of anything? I don't think so. Because that's personnel. Just like you don't know how many people y'all left in Afghanistan.
In a world where there are all sorts of conflicts, and it's all the more reason we need somebody who's serious and who supports the military. And just remember,
but Governor, excuse me, but she said there is not one member of the United States military who is an active duty in a combat zone. That is not true. You say she demonstrated her ability to be commander-in-chief, but did she not know about these people in Syria and Iraq? Why would she say that?
Look, that was a comment. That was a comment in a debate. I think the point that she was trying to make was a broader.
So if you say it during a debate, from what you just said it doesn't have to be true. You can say it in the moment and it's okay. As long as it's in a debate. You can say whatever the fuck you want. And we shouldn't question you. Why didn't they fucking fact check her during the debate? Were they too busy trying to fact check Trump? I don't know. Yeah, actually.
And of course we have military in place all around this country. That's important. We're the United States of America. And Kamala Harris, remember, is the person who stands with NATO, who supports our allies, who's working to bring countries together. Donald Trump stands with Vladimir Putin. So, I think that's what's really important. Kamala Harris, she respects our military. She respects our service members. Donald Trump calls them suckers and losers. And it's why
I think back in my military career, and I think every year, Thanksgiving or Christmas or even New Year's, somewhere in the Middle East or in Landstuhl, the President of the United States would be there on Thanksgiving or Christmas serving food to the troops. Did you guys know that the mainstream media one year was talking about how it was Christmas and Trump's at a golf course on vacation, blah, blah, blah. Only to wake up to the real news and Donald Trump was overseas serving Thanksgiving or Christmas meals. Thanksgiving or Christmas. I know it was one of the two. To troops overseas. Media would never lie. I've never seen or heard of Joe Biden or Kamala Harris going to visit the troops over there. Maybe in Germany, but not in combat zone. Or even just go to Kuwait. That's not really a combat zone. It's a tipping off point. A rally point.
Donald Trump's former military generals support Kamala Harris. They say that Donald Trump shouldn't be anywhere near the Oval Office. And I think those are the points, Martha, that people need.
If a bunch of military generals said that they don't want to go with Donald Trump, think about that. Donald Trump wants diplomacy. He wants to end the war in Ukraine, to end the war in Israel. Stop funding them, not really end them. But they want to go with Harris and Waltz, who will put 100% of our income, taxes, towards those two countries to continue the war. Ask yourself that. You want the one that wants to take it to the end? Or you get the ones that end it? Save us money.
Need to understand, we live in a world of very serious times with serious consequences, and the actions of the next commander-in-chief matter. Kamala Harris will be that commander-in-chief and lead us forward in freedom, working with others.
Governor, I want to hit another. I want to stick to Governor. I want to stick to Kamala Harris here on abortion. Vice President Harris did not make clear whether she supports any restrictions on abortion. Currently, 9 states and the District of Columbia have no gestational ban on abortions. Your state of Massachusetts has a ban on abortion after 24 weeks. Your state drew a line. Should she let people know where she stands and draw some sort of line?
She already did, Martha. What she said is, let's go back to Roe, which, by the way, contrary to what Donald Trump says, nobody was asking to be overturned except for some segment. She's been clear, and I can tell you that because I myself am a former prosecutor, former attorney general, very familiar with abortion laws. And we both respect the right for people, first off, to make their own individual decisions about their body and what they want to do. That's very important. Women and families should have that choice. That includes...
So if that kind of passes, can anybody that was forced to get the COVID vaccine now, they can sue them because they made the choice for you. And since they've been reversing all these people that were fired and compensating them or letting them back in the military, like they're going to want to come back in, you stupid fucking Nazis. You demonized half the country. You forced a quarter of it to get them to get vaccinated. Somebody's got to be held responsible. And maybe we should do a Supreme Court case like Roe v. Wade.
The choice not to have an abortion. But what Kamala Harris has said is she wants to take us back to Roe, which allowed for abortion.
Or if we can't sue the pharmaceutical companies, let's put tighter restrictions. No? Nothing will ever happen. How long have they been talking about lowering drug prices? How many presidents has it happened? From what I hear from both this chat, previous chats, and my daughters who happen to work at pharmacies, they'll tell you they're not getting cheaper, especially the elderly people who have to put medications back because they can't afford it. What about that $2,000 cap? When one medication itself can cost $800. No joke. How are you going to help everyday Americans like that?
In certain circumstances. Donald Trump is, here's what's really important. He did not say the other day in the debate that he would veto a national abortion ban. And in fact, he supports abortion bans, just like the Trump abortion ban that's on the ballot in Florida. And it's appalling. It's appalling what that means for women, for families, for their health. And, that is a clear distinction in this race. Kamala.
Hey, governor of Massachusetts. Pretty sure you got a pretty liberal state. Why don't you just sign it into law? No abortion ban. Why is that such a hard thing to do? Oh, people probably won't want to come move to Massachusetts because it's expensive. So let's keep them in the southern states where they're dumb. They'll do whatever we tell them. First, it was profitable to be a single parent. Now it's profitable for you to be given abortions. Because we know what they do with the bodies, the fetuses, the dead. Pharmaceutical companies are making money. Cash cows, motherfuckers. And y'all are falling for it.
Harris wants to bring us back to the Roe period where we had protections in place and access. We weren't jailing doctors. Women weren't bleeding out and afraid. Husbands and wives who wanted to have children, were able to access and make the healthcare decisions that they need to be able to protect their ability to do so. Victims of rape and incest had relief. Donald Trump wants to take all of that away.
Governor, I want to move on to the economy. Difference. There is a clear difference.
He just fucking lied right there because he said during the debate that there are exceptions and he listed them off. Not only with the Harris lying at the debate, look at this. This bitch is trying to cover for her and she just lied.
There, Governor, I want to, in terms of the economy, Vice President Harris says she has a plan for lifting the middle class. But right now, the middle class under the Biden-Harris administration, eggs are up 119%, bread up 25%, chicken up 25%, the median home price is up 39%. This is the Biden-Harris administration. And Donald Trump is leading on the economy and immigration. What are your people saying to you? You must hear that as a governor.
Yeah, and look, I try to explain to people as governor, here's how we got here, okay? We had COVID, which Trump did not handle well. There had to be a huge infusion of money to save our small businesses and to help all of our states. Inflation rose as a result. And what's happened under the Biden-Harris administration is they've actually worked to bring down inflation. There is still work to do. What's important, Martha, going forward is that Donald Trump wants to make permanent tax cuts for the ultra wealthy among us, okay, which is only going to burden us with more debt. He also wants to put on more tariffs, which are going to raise consumer prices for all of us. In contrast, Kamala Harris has said,
yeah, let's
I'm
raise the
lay
tariffs
the foundation.
So they cost more for our products in the United States. Nothing like importing stuff to buy in the country when both parties and both presidents were talking about we're going to have everything American made. It'll help. Buy American. Buy American, stay American. Keep the economy going. If you want to import your stuff, great. We can raise the prices. Not for us, but for those companies to bring it in. Makes sense if you really want American made. And if you guys want a Japanese TV, you can pay more. I'm just kidding, make it the same price.
To see further reductions in the interest rates, which I think we'll see soon, and prices are going to come down. But Governor, it is very unfair to start that in the middle of the movie when the Biden-Harris team came in and we're dealing with a lot. We have the strongest economy of any country in the world right now, and they are committed to making life more affordable.
Are they not counting, Argentina, those places in South America, who ended up getting new presidents that pretty much brought down inflation with ease without hurting the economy? Actually improved it. Can we do that here? Why not just take notes from them, see what they did? Oh, they don't support wars in foreign countries. Oh, well, that makes a huge difference.
For people on housing, drugs, groceries, and the like. Donald Trump isn't.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning, Governor. We appreciate your time and your comments.
I would want to say no, straight up.
But what's the difference between...
Oh, no, I don't want to do that. All right. So this is going to go back to the ABC debate when they said they had a whistleblower that's going to come out and go over what exactly happened. Well, affidavit's out. And none other than PBD. First one I see to broadcast it. And I like to listen to them more anyway because they aren't biased. Maybe they are. Who doesn't care? They're vets. I'm just going to say it's because they're vets. Except for the not Vinny dude, the other dude.
Sharing the breakdown of a letter that a whistleblower from ABC writes. Go all the way to the bottom, and then we'll read the email.
Affidavit, PBD. He's for if he gets in trouble, it's perjury, jail for a long time.
Okay, so affidavit. So click on this, Rob, from the first one. I want to read the whole thing. Yeah, click on the first picture, Rob. Right there. Zoom out a little bit. Okay, so here we go. Yeah, zoom in a little bit more for that so I can read it. My name is XYZ. I reside.
And by the way, if anybody's wondering why I haven't talked about the assassination attempt anymore, not bringing any more attention to it. There's way too many things that's saying that wasn't random. That was staged. Not staged, set up. Could have been staged too. We'll never know.
In such and such New York. I've worked for ABC for over 10 years in various technical and administrative positions. Since the acquisition of ABC in 1996, I've observed significant transformation in the nature of the news reporting at the organization. These changes suggest, how would he know since 96 if he's only worked there for 10 years? These changes suggest a shift from unbiased reporting, a model of influence by external factors. For the record, I do not endorse Trump in his capacity as candidate for Trump. The intent of his affidavit is to address concerns regarding perceived biases within the news reporting within my employer's debate that will be hosted on September 10th, 2024. Okay, go to the next one, number 2. Observations of the debate communication. Since the debate of President Trump announced a broadcast on ABC, various members of the staff have expressed hope of a debate where issues that were important to everyday Americans will be discussed, and that there had been promises that the candidates will be held firm to discuss.
Wait, this is before the debate. Oh, why didn't they say anything before it then?
Discussions regarding their proposed policy stances, and that the debate would not deteriorate into an ad campaign, whereas both candidates would simply make blanket statements without specific policy or explanation as to, political position clarification. Many employees at ABC who were looking for fair and honest debate questioned for the clear bias that is well known throughout the company. It is common knowledge that debate moderators, as well as chief executive officer of my employer, are well known not to support Trump. This led to several employees speaking up in regards to how to make a fair debate fair. We were given assurances that the debate would be fair, and neither the Harris nor the Trump campaign would have an unfair advantage. Concerns regarding journalistic integrity. It is my belief that contemporary news organizations, including ABC, no longer adhere to impartiality. The influence of commercial interests and substantial donors appear to affect news presentations,
Disney's ABC,
resulting in reporting. I personally witnessed news stories being cut from programming and not reported at all due to influence of certain corporations linked to our parent company, XYZ.
The Walt Disney Company is what that says.
Observations pertaining to debate fairness. I have noted specific instances related to the debate between Trump and Kamala that raise concerns, and procedural fairness. The specific instances of perceived bias are as follows. Let's go to the next one. Okay. Zoom in a little bit. Rob, the Harris administration received particular accommodations, including but not limited to providing of a podium significantly smaller than the one of Trump, and assurances regarding split-screen television views that would favorably impact Kamala Harris's appearance relative to Donald Trump. It was agreed that Trump would not...
Whoa! So that split screen was done on purpose so you could see her doing her... Oh, I'm sorry, you guys probably couldn't see that on a small screen. My bad. I'm not redoing it.
Be subjected to fact-checking during the debate, while Kamala Harris would not face comparable scrutiny. This was widely known throughout the company that Donald Trump would be fact-checked. In fact, various people were assigned to...
NTF's lives, that's for the drama. If y'all want to go there.
Fact-check observations it was perceived candidate Trump would make during the debate, In fact, Harris' campaign required assurances that Donald Trump would be fact-checked. This was done via multiple communications with the Harris campaign, whereas the Trump campaign was not included in negotiations. To my understanding, any rule negotiations and conversations pertaining to the debate should have had both Trump and Kamala Harris involved. The Harris campaign had numerous more calls regarding the debate rules with the Trump campaign aware or on the call. Not aware. Okay, go to the next one, Rob. The Harris campaign was provided with sample questions, while not exact questions, covered similar topics that would appear during the debate. Okay, let's read the next part. Go all the way to the top. Here we go. Furthermore, the Harris campaign imposed restrictions. No questions regarding the perceived health of Joe Biden. No inquiries related to her tenure as Attorney General of San Francisco. No questions concerning her brother-in-law, Tony West, who faced allegations of embezzling billions of dollars in taxpayer funds who may be involved in her administration if elected.
Whoa.
Tony West. So we got to go Google him afterwards.
Holy shit.
Internal organization climate. I have observed a pronounced bias against Trump within ABC News. Employees express favorable views towards him, experience significant concerns about the potential retribution. Okay, let's go to the next page, Rob. Okay, purpose of documentation of affidavit. This affidavit is executed to document and provide transparency regarding the issues of fairness and impartiality in the debate process and broader concerns about journalistic integrity at ABC News. And the last page, Rob, if we can go to it to see what he says. Next page. Zoom in, right? The affidavit has been signed and notarized on September 9th, 2000.
That's before the debate.
So this is it taking place.
Of course.
To ensure that the allegations set forth formally documented prior to. In addition to notarizing this affidavit, I have sent a certified letter to myself, postmarked September 9th, which will remain unopened for any future investigations. Oh, this guy
smart.
Smart.
That's so
I have
smart.
also dispatched a Federal Express package containing this affidavit on September 9th, delivered to my residence on the 10th, which will remain unopened for potential investigative purposes.
With all the FedEx tracking information.
Are you kidding me?
Gangster.
Furthermore, I have sent a certified letter to Speaker Mike Johnson on the night to establish a record that the correspondence was sent before the debate. Additionally, for further investigation, I have secretly recorded several conversations that will prove that the Harris campaign insisted upon not only fact-checking of Donald Trump, but also insisted on what questions were not to be asked under any circumstances, or else the Harris campaign would decline to participate in the debate. And go to the last page, Rob. Holy moly.
Like Pat cheating, right?
No question. I make these statements under the penalty of perjury and perjury and without coercion of any kind. New York, I being sworn here. It's an
affidavit saying I'll go to jail.
So let me see what Bill Ackman said. Go to the top. Bill Ackman, very successful businessman. I think he's worth $9 or $10 billion. Let's see what he writes an open letter to Bob Iger, right?
Love it.
Dear Bob, I assume that you have been made aware of this. By the way, Bob Iger's career started off with ABC 42 years ago, just so you know.
Wow,
40,
I didn't know that.
He started off with ABC, moved his way up, and then ABC bought Disney. Then he went and started working. So he knows ABC very well, which was made public today, in which a whistleblower states that ABC worked closely with Kamala Harris' campaign in sharing the substance of the questions, avoiding certain topics, et cetera, et cetera. I find the allegations credible, as written also because the affidavit was apparently made and filed the day before. Go to a lower one. While I can't determine the veracity of the allegations, they do match subsequently with what took place during the debate. Moderators have yet to respond to the allegations. Since they have not yet done so, one must draw negative inference in light of the seriousness of the allegations, the implications for this presidential election, and for ABC's reputation, thereby Disney's and the office of CEO. I strongly encourage you to launch an immediate investigation of this matter. Our democracy demands on transparency, depends on... Wow.
And look what he did. And then, Rob, go to his last one 3 hours ago, PBD. He just go to Bill App and go a little bit lower, Robbie. He goes right there, Pat, right there.
Come to think of it, I am going to alert the SEC directly about Disney, ABC, and their misleading response to the whistleblower accusations about the presidential debate. Tom, how do you process all of this?
Very well and very poorly. I don't process it poorly. I process this very well, and it really reflects very poorly on the Walt Disney Company and ABC. First of all, what's interesting here is, do you remember the absolute buzzsaw she ran into with Tulsi Gabbard?
Yes.
What was Tulsi Gabbard talking about?
Her record
as Attorney General of California, incarcerating mostly African-American men for minor drug charges and utilization of the guys that were in there on lesser charges as labor for the state. Remember, that's what Tulsi went after her. So if you look at this affidavit and then you read the part about, and anything regarding her being Attorney General, don't want to talk about that. Don't want to talk about Joe Biden, the health of Joe Biden, such as Vice President, you worked with Joe Biden. Were you aware of his deterioration? And what did you do about it as a leader in government to protect American people, to ensure that the president was capable? No questions about that. That was the question that she was not been able to ask, and she's been put into the group about that. So when I look at just those two things, those are such obvious questions. Why didn't they get asked? You know, David Muir could have put it any way. You know, people want someone tough on crime. There's a lot of crime in the United States now. You know, you as Attorney General have been open to certain criticism. That is a softball question. That's not like a TMZ below the belt question. That's very, very basic. So the fact that it wasn't in there, I find the affidavit credible, and the recordings is what I think is the shoe to drop. Because I also noted, I haven't seen the full response by David Muir, but David Muir was very careful in the video that I saw, where he said, all of this whining about the debate, who won, who lost, is a lot of noise. I'm moving on. Do you notice in that he doesn't deny any of this? Yeah. He just says, oh, the noise about the debate and Trump whining about it. But that's the one clip I've seen. I haven't seen the rest or anything written of the response of ABC. But, you know, is ABC going to go out and deny any of this? And then the recordings come out. So I think ABC, if this is all true, is checkmated right now. The only thing they can do is, you know how politicians do the half answers, answer something you want to answer, don't answer the real question. It says, how could you ask that? I've always cared about the American people and the economy when I'm asking about inflation. What did you do about inflation? Why did you do this? That's a ridiculous question. I care about the American people. You know how
of course
you answer that way, but this way. That's what I felt like ABC did. Oh, the noise is just gripes about who won. There's just gripes about it. There always is going to be gripes about the debate. We need to move on. But David Muir and everything I saw from that interview didn't come out and say, we didn't give her any topics.
No, what's really
we didn't agree not to ask those questions. Oh, we forgot to ask those questions. And we didn't do any of this. That's not what they're saying. So, Pat, that's how I process it. I think they are checkmated. If they come out with a denial and then the whistleblowers releases recordings of executives actually saying these things, it makes it look double worse for ABC.
But Tom, let me ask you a question though. But because this guy tried to assassinate Trump, you're not even hearing about this. This has been story hold, and this won't even nobody cares about this anymore. And I know that she automatically was like, well, I want another debate. Well, obviously, and I mean, how clear was it, Tom? I know we felt it, but we couldn't really say it because we had no evidence. She was night and day a completely different person. We knew it.
Well, sure. And the news media is going to use any other story to shade the order of the stories and whether even cover it at all. Yeah. So that's going to happen. That's a given. Pat asked me what I thought about it.
Adam, that's what I think. Yeah, well, look, I remember we had Ari Fleischer on the podcast probably over a year ago. He was the former
press secretary,
exactly, for George W. Bush. He became famous right after 9/11, everything that he did there. And he basically talked about having a mixed media diet. Remember that term about, all right, cool, maybe if you're on the left, you're liberal, get a little more conservative outlets in there and basically mix it up. If you're more conservative, see what the left is saying. That way you sort of have a larger scope of what's going on out there. But there's a thing called the media bias chart. And Rob, I think it's the next one. Trust in media. Then there's the second thing I sent you. It's a media bias chart. And you could just see for yourself where certain channels or networks basically fall on the chart. You have that, Rob? So ABC, where do you think they are on the chart?
Of trustworthy?
So look, they're just
biased.
There's left, there's center left, there's center, there's center right, and there's right. ABC is first on the list of center left. So we know what game that they're already going to play. Look at the outlets that tend to be a little bit more central. Center, Reuters, Wall Street Journal, a lot of the sources that we pull from. On the right, obviously, you have the Foxes of the world, and on the far right, you have Newsmax, OAN. But on the far left, that's where you see the MSNBCs or the Huffington Post or the Daily Beast. We all understand. But don't get it twisted. ABC, they present themselves as being fair and balanced, and independent. No, they're going to be center left, and they're going to basically do what they want to do to push their narrative. So I'm not shocked to hear any of this. I doubt we all are. You know, call it cheating, call it sort of helping a candidate, whatever, you know, component you want to put on it. But is anybody shocked to hear that ABC was sort of rooting for Kamala or helping Kamala?
This is not about being shocked.
Yeah.
This is very different than being shocked.
Mhm.
This is an affidavit was
the
written
brother.
the day before, sent to Speaker Johnson, sent to himself, sent FedEx in every way to say, here's what's going to happen. And he ends up being right. Can you go to his brother-in-law, Rob? Who is Kamala Harris's brother-in-law?
Here we go.
So Tony West?
And why is he being protected? What do they fear about him? So, by the way, this is let's find out who this guy is.
He's married to Kamala's sister.
Wait, Pat, is this the guy that was he was like an Uber? Was he big in the Uber company?
Yeah, he was the senior vice president and chief legal officer for Uber.
Yeah.
He also was general counsel for PepsiCo and was the assistant attorney general of the civil division for the Department of Justice.
His Maya Harris.
Go lower.
who is
Go
the
lower to see if the
sister of Kamala.
controversy on it.
So I looked. I couldn't find anything aliens. The only mention of billions in his Wikipedia article is right here. West was involved in efforts by the Department of Justice to reclaim $37 billion from large financial institutions, but it doesn't say anything about a scandal involving him.
Huh.
Then why would they fear?
Yeah, this guy mentioned that. Like the fact that they brought her brother-in-law, Tony West, faces allegations of embezzling billions of taxpayer funds who may be involved in her administration if elected. There's already articles about saying
Money
that
laundering.
they're going to tap him. I think that's the one, Robbie. Was that it?
Where all the big
Embezzlement.
donations.
He was a former U.S. Attorney General under Barack Obama, is who he was. Okay. West is married to Harris's sister, Maya, who he met in law school 35 years ago. After their wedding, he told the United Center, I also gained a sister I cherish, Kamala. As president, I'll know she'll fight for you, he concluded. This is his speech that he's giving. Interesting.
The New York Times, Pat, says he emerges as a close advisor to Kamala. The New York Times says he's going to be an advisor, even though he has. Dude, that's crazy that nobody's ever heard of him until ABC's like, make sure you don't bring him up.
I wonder how big of a role he had during this Biden administration. Okay, that's continuity between Obama and Harris.
As if Trump would have brought him up. You know what I mean? Like they were doing research on this guy.
So how much credibility do you give this guy, Pat? Pretty high? The guy that basically wrote this affidavit?
I think, okay, let's see what he got right. He said Trump's going to be fact-checked more than Kamala. Kamala was,
yes.
Yeah, that's fact. Okay, number two is the podium. Okay,
Yes,
fact.
we said that early.
Number three, did they ask any questions about Joe Biden's health?
No, they did not.
Okay. That's the third one, right?
They did it.
Her record as Attorney General.
Her record as
not even asked about it.
Not brought up. That's four, right? So if four is right, then Tony West, something has to be there. So I don't know. This guy seems like a guy that's if he wanted to speak and do an interview without showing his face, I mean, I want to see what that looks like.
What was Bill Ackman's involvement in this? I'm just.
No, he
tracing
just
the
wrote an
details.
open letter to Bob Iger saying, "What the hell is this?
Yeah.
Basically saying, did you see this?
Yes.
And
Did you
hold
know
him
about
accountable.
this?
Got it. Makes sense.
Are you aware of this?" And
Okay.
then Bob Iger is either going to respond or not going to respond.
Now, Bob Iger's, that's one person to respond. What about any sort of congressional hearing or anything like this? Like, where does this go from here?
By the way,
he kind of called his shot.
Watch
It turned
what
out to be
happened
true.
here. She ends up doing she did an interview for ABC, a local ABC network. I don't know if you saw that when he asked her a question about the economy. Did you see this or no?
No, I didn't.
Okay, Rob, is this the one?
Yep.
Okay, so he's asking her about the economy. This is her answer about the economy. Tom.
Was it 3-4 days after the debate? Just to put a timeline on this?
Yes, 3-4 days after the debate. Go ahead, Rob.
Well, I'll start with
Start from the
this.
beginning, Rob, because people have to hear the question. Go from the beginning. Go ahead.
When we talk about bringing down prices and making life more affordable for people, what are one or two specific things you have in mind for that?
Well, I'll start with this. I grew up a middle-class kid. My mother raised my sister and me. She worked very hard. She was able to finally save up enough money to buy our first house when I was a teenager. I grew up in a community of hardworking people, construction workers and nurses and teachers, and I try to explain to some people who may not have had the same experience. But a lot of people will relate to this. I grew up in a neighborhood of folks who were very proud of their lawn.
I grew up in an apartment.
Is to believe and to know that all people deserve dignity.
Yes.
And that
Are you listening to this?
we as Americans have a
asking her
character.
ideas on the
we
economy,
have
and she's like, I grew up
ambitions and aspirations
with people that
and
like their
dreams,
lawns.
but not everyone necessarily has access to the resources that
This
can
is when
help
you don't
them
know the
fuel those
questions.
dreams
here we
and
go.
Yeah, wait, watch.
So when I talk about building an opportunity economy, it is
there we go.
very much with the mind of
That's not Tom, that's the
investing
report.
in the ambitions and aspirations and the incredible work ethic of the American people, and creating opportunity for people, for example, to start a small business.
Oh. By the way, that's what happens when you don't know the answers and you have been prepped and there's no cheating involved. That is her raw dog. That is her.
If only she had an advisor in her ear that just say, I'm going to work with the Fed to lower interest rates and help reduce the cost of living. And we're also going to work with an energy program.
That's it.
So that we can get if we're producing our own energy and we're not importing the oil, it'll get the cost of gas, travel, and diesel for trucks down, which would reduce the cost of things for the average American. That's how I answer the question. And even the most basic person could sit there and go, okay, well, that makes sense, doesn't it?
Well, look, a lot of people say, listen, the reason I like Trump and the reason I want Trump in there is because he's a businessman and we need to run the country like a business. All right, there's a lot of truth to be said there. Now, you also have to understand that there's, policy that needs to be understood and everything that happens with the Constitution. And maybe Trump is not exactly the #1 candidate for that. But here you have Kamala, who...
Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that's all I got for you today. Hopefully y'all learned something new. Hopefully it was a refresher, and hopefully I made you think. I'm not trying to change your mind on anything. I'm just here to present what I see, what I saw, and my thoughts. But, yeah, I'm not telling y'all how to think. I'm just telling you to think, and I'll see y'all next time. No music on the way out, because I wanted to play the prison bitch right after Diddy's segment.